I knew a person that was working for Creative Colors, and they had called me and asked me about a position that was opening up and if I was interested in it, and I knew it was going to allow a lot more flexible scheduling to go with my school schedule and things like that when I was in college, and the idea of getting my foot in the door at the bottom level and having the opportunity to work up from part-time positions to full-time positions and grow within the company was what really attracted me to Creative Colors.
The one thing I liked is that you basically got your own hours. You had your own clientele. I mean, it did take, you had to go out and get the work, so you had to be aggressive, which taught you to grow up. I started when I was 19. So, but yeah, I mean, you're working outside, so if you're in a nice state, I mean, even Colorado, even with the seasons, it's still really nice, and if it's raining or whatever, you get the day off. Or you can pitch a tent, whichever, you know, is better for you. I like that, you know, because for me I started off hourly when I was training, and then it became commission, which I'm sure most of the people do. And so with commission, you know, the faster you work, the more money you make, and the more time you have to do other things. So I was able to kind of control, it wasn't a Monday 9-to-5 job, so to speak. You know, it's never the same thing. You always have a different kind of repair, or it's a different kind of customer. There's never two of the same thing ever.
What attracted me to CCI was obviously my boss, who was also my friend at the time. He was doing it, and I couldn't imagine him being that young and making that much money. And I figured if he could do something like that, then probably so could I. And I just wanted an opportunity to go out and create my own income as much as I wanted to, and just go from there and see what it would produce for me.
I was a service writer, and so I had to call Creative Colors on several occasions to come out and do some repairs. So I can remember going out, and Hal was repairing a seat, and back then they had them in like little medicine jars, and I said, "Oh, can I watch you?" And so he's mixing his little "Oh, that's really cool." I said, I like that. Well, probably a couple years went by, and I was sitting in an office, and he came by, and I said, "Hal, do you like your job?" And he goes, "Well, I'm ready to retire." And I said, "Well, are they hiring?" And he goes, "Oh, well, let me check." And he goes over, picks up the phone. "Yeah, Joanne, are you hiring?" And he says, "Oh, you send her in." And she asked me a few questions, and she said, "Okay, you can start in a couple weeks. We're going to be training." And I'm like, this is super.
Several of my friends had worked for CCI, and the thought of being home, I was working on the road quite a bit, so it was an opportunity to not be on the road.
As much money as I wanted or was able to make within a day. In other words, it was up to me. There was no limits. And that's how it was presented to me. As hard as you want to work, that's how much money you're going to make. Women in the construction field, it's very difficult to get in, to be accepted, in a lot of different fields that don't require a college education. Where in this field, it does seem to empower women to be able to do this, make that kind of money. In other words, they gave you the tools and set you off to be the technician you needed to be. You didn't have to conform to a certain way. You had the freedom to use your own talents and skills because everyone's unique and they all have their strengths and weaknesses.